Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League Assetto Corsa Competizione. Round 4 of the Taco Tuesday series in Tier 1 takes us to Norfolk, England at the Snetterton circuit. Tom Cairns in the commentary position, providing you with the details for tonight's action. Apologies that I wasn't around for last week due to personal circumstances, but I am back tonight for 4th round of this season's championship. We are in the final minutes of practice. We are seeing some drivers doing their last number of laps before qualifying begins. 15 minutes of qualifying with a 60-minute race to follow with a mandatory pit stop included. In terms of what happened last week, despite the fact that we weren't able to stream it, MGK, otherwise known as Melvin Kroes, the Dutchman in the number 23 Ferrari, came out on top over Ben Milden in second place, with Ahmed Al-Dori making it to the podium in 3rd position. And in terms of the championship, with Sean Cole only managing 8th, his gap at the top has been reduced to just 8 points between himself and Ahmed Al-Dori. Mauro Asensio is 3rd in the championship standings. He picks up 10th at the Hungaroring. It was a 90-minute special last week, but it's back to the conventional 60-minute race. Melvin Kroes' win has moved him up to 4th, further ahead of Ben Milden actually. There's only a 2-point difference between winning in a race and finishing 2nd. Consistency is the key thing in this championship. Every finisher scores points. There's also a couple of points up for grabs for the driver who sets the fastest up of the race. So we should have at least 20 drivers in the lobby tonight. At the moment we've got 19. Not sure what's happening to a lot of the other full-time members. Last week's event we saw 22 competing. Nikola Busov, who's top of the standings at the moment, but this is practice, so nothing counts at the end of the session. It's qualifying and the race that counts. In terms of the Snetterton circuit, FIA Grade 2 licensed, owned by Motorsport Vision since 2004. First opened in October 1951, situated in the county of Norfolk. Played host to British touring cars since 1984. Going back there this year once more for the 40th consecutive year, which is quite a feat actually for Snetterton. It plays host to the British Superbikes GP3 and TCR UK. The circuit itself, the Snetterton 300, the longest layout is 4.7 kilometres long. There's only 12 turns, or it says there's 12 turns. Of course, it went through a revamp in terms of the circuit before it was reopened in 2011. Corners such as Riches, Montreal, Palmer, Agostini, Hamilton, Oggies, Williams, and you've got the Bentley Straight, Brundle, Nelson, Bombhole, Coram, Murray's, and the Senna Straight, the pit straight that is. Have joined us on the stream. We do welcome you. Feel free to get involved in the live chat if you ever so wish to do so. I'll answer your questions as the session goes on. Let us know who your money is on for pole and race win, if you have an idea. In terms of who to look out for, given who has already joined the lobby. Well, you have to say Ahmed Al-Dori on the back of 2 podiums in a row. He's one to be keeping an eye on. Ben Milden as well. Sean Cole, the championship leader. MGK, who's sitting in P8 so far in this practice session. Lewis Robinson, another one to look out for. And Morix, who's yet to get a lap on the board. Don't know what time the race is set to begin in terms of the race time. I can have a look on the Taco announcements page to see if there's anything I can pick up on. So the timing of the race for Snetterton quite showing on there, I don't think. Expecting plenty of clouds with a bit of rain late on Snetterton circuit. I would probably say if you look at the timing of the practice session at the moment, which multiplies by 2 by the way, in case you're wondering, it's at 7:47 PM. Don't know for certain how long or what time the qualifying session will be starting up, and the race as well, but I'd imagine we'll probably have day race as opposed to having a night one. I don't know if we had a night one at the Hungaroring last week. I think that's answers on the postcard. But we did have a night race at Suzuka 2 weeks ago. Busev on top of the 146.9. Should be expecting pole position to be around that. Moritz is out on circuit now, so let's see how he is getting on after we see Busev cross over the line. And it's not an improvement, I don't think, on that lap. So Moritz coming down Bentley straight to Brundle and Nelson. That's Sean Cull, who's in the number 444 Mercedes AMG. Morris is coming towards the line now. So I think it's just to start a lap. So we'll go for a lap of this Snetterton circuit with Mauro Asensio, I think it is, or Arsenio, I should say. But he's going through the first turn, and this is Monchol that he's braking for. Just want to get the telemetry on the screen so we can see it. To go back to Moritz, sorry, as soon as we find him. He's already gone through turn number 3 and he's braking for the hairpin, the second hairpin of that, Agostini, and then on the throttle from first gear and then into Hamilton. Second gear it is, and then upshift into third. It's having a little switch on the exit. Now braking for turn 5, which is turn 6, I think. My apologies, that's Oggies, and then this is Williams. He's coming through second gear, 125 kilometers an hour, using the curb on the outside to get the traction on the exit on this long back straight of Bentley, and into a left and right hander. This is Brundle, he's going through and braking for Nelson. Avoid the sausage curb on the inside. It's very easy to lure you to that curb because it's just ahead of you. And he's taking a bit too much curb there through Bomb Hole and through Coram. And then the last braking point of the circuit is Murray's. Down to first gear, 80 kilometers an hour before you apply the throttle one last time. And Morris is coming around to complete a lap of Snetterton. What is this lap time going to be for him? It's 1:48.2. We know there's a lot more than that because of the two errors that he had made, one at Hamilton and the other being at Bombhole. So I expect him to produce a better lap than he did on that occasion. See all the rubber scattered on the outside. Tell how much the drivers have been pushing since the practice session had begun. And I think Rui has just joined the lobby now, which is good to see. So we've got 20 drivers. I don't think we're expecting any reserves, as far as I know. So in terms of the full-time drivers who are out tonight, from the pro category, we've got Tom Fagan, Will Freeman, Nils Van Lyck and Cameron Blair not around, unfortunately. Drifter is also not able to make it, I don't think, either. Dominic Fuvka, reserve driver, also not around. And we've got 21 in the lobby now because it looks like Bruno Canavera has joined just in time. They only have time for an outlap if he's going to get some mileage in. But we've just seen Fighter go to the top now with a 1:46.9, so he's able to displace Busov by 0.08 of a second. Busov in P2, then it's Small Hand in P3 in the number 420 Porsche. That is Blakely Townsend from the United States. Don't know whereabouts. Perhaps that's something that he can fill me on, or someone can fill me on for the broadcast. So the checker flag is out as we watch Van der Waal, Demian Van der Waal come through Murray's for the last time. So this is going to be an improvement from before. He'll want to try and stay to the inside because that's where you'll gain more time at, and that has helped him move up to P3 just ahead of Small Hand. So we've got a couple of drivers on circuit. We'll have a look at Ray Thomas and see how he's getting on, because he's had quite a tricky start to the season. And 16th last week, 90-minute special at the Hungaroring. So far this season he's only picked up 60 points. He's in 9th place in the championship, which isn't too bad. Quite set the world alight like he was doing at the early part of last season. Coming round now, he's the last driver on track, so this is the last opportunity to see whether he does improve his time. Go in front of Papizel, and this not time of his enough to move him up the order. We'll have a look and see whether that did move him up the order as qualifying gets underway, and he moved up to 12th place right at the end, so he was able to displace Morex and Papizel. To do even better than that, I think, if he's to have any chance of going to the front. So 21 drivers we've got on the grid tonight. He will be on pole for the 4th race out of 10. We've already been to Laguna Seca, we've been to Suzuka, we've been to the Hungaroring. Tonight is Snetterton. After Snetterton, we'll be staying in Britain at Silverstone. And then the drivers will be gearing up for the second 90-minute special of the campaign at Mount Panorama, Bathurst, Australia on May the 23rd. And at the end of the month, we'll be going to Nürburgring in Germany, Misano on June the 6th, and then the penultimate round being at Zandvoort on June the 13th, and the season finale will be held in Kyalami, and that will be a 90-minute special with 2 pit stops included. So as we watch, drivers are starting to begin their laps as Hutchison goes off track, and he's rejoined into the path there of the number 888. That will be Adam Anderson. I want to go to the first driver who just started that, which is Fighter. It's coming into Montreal now. The hairpin. We're looking to you on. Don't expect this to be the best lap of the session, because the track is only, well, it was green at the start of it. It's now coming into its window, but I expect those behind to be finding more grip behind him than what Fighter will be producing. 2 drivers in the pits at the moment. Hutchison's just gone back out again now, so Bruno's the only one stuck in the pits. Although I think he's actually going back on circuit now. So all 21 drivers are on track. It's Fighter. It's forward. Is the outside curb to continue the momentum. Goes through Coram now. This is Murray's. So we'll see him cross over the line. What is this lap time going to be for Ferrari driver? It's going to be a 1:47.9. Now the fastest time we saw in practice was a 1:46.9. So I'd expect that lap time to be beaten by someone. In terms of who, we don't know yet. Busov goes to P2, Anderson's P3, half a second off the pace. Lewis Robertson's 4th, with Kamil Makowski in 6th position. Ben Milden goes to the top, 1:47.8. Alman Eldori's 3rd, 2/10 off the pole position time in the Mercedes AMG. We've got Isin and Papizzle posting lap times as well. They are 9th and 10th. Stuart Hutchison, who made that mistake as he was about to start his lap, will be behind this lap, I think. I think he invalidated this time, or he's just completed his out lap, so he will be starting a lap. Smallhand goes 6th, and further behind him we've got the number, I think it's the 911 of Rui, who's just gone over the line in the McLaren. Paul Trotman has exited the last turn. He's about to head down the centre straight. What is this time going to be for the Lexus driver? It's good enough only for 14th. 5 drivers yet to post a time. Moritz has crossed over the line to go to provisional pole position. with a 1:47.1. We just realised that Sean Cull had gone to pole, beating Ben Milden's time by quite some margin. Moritz has beaten it even more. 1:47.1. We expect the track to pick up. Bruno is on circuit, Van der Waals on circuit, Ray Thomas is on circuit, Stuart Hutchinson is on circuit, all of which have yet to get a time on the board, but we've still got just over 9 minutes remaining in qualifying. There's no points for pole position, not like it used to be in previous seasons. The bonus points are reserved for the driver who sets the fastest up of the race later on. Busov has gone to pole, beating his practice time from earlier, 1:46.8. Moritz down to second position. You can see Hutchinson's right on the tail there of the McLaren in front of him. And I think that's Fireblade he's trying to get past. He's been held up behind him for quite some time. Goes over the line now to get his first time on the board. It's a 1:48.4. And it's only good enough for 12th fastest. Got Bruno, who's about to enter Murray's now. He's got a car in front of him. That is seems to be Clayton ahead. He's gone over the line as Bruno to start another lap. I think might have invalidated the lap he was on. So Josh Clayton with some work to do at the moment. He is, well, he's gone up to 8th fastest now as Josh Clayton, so he's improving all the time. Moritz has got the gap down to less than a 10th with a 1:46.9, but not enough to go back to the front. Vita is in P3 ahead of Eldori. They are on the second row as it stands. There is Ben Milden behind the 1:74 of Kamil Makowski. And Milden goes second. So he's ahead of Moritz again because Busov has managed to improve to a 1:46.7. It's a brilliant lap again from the driver in the number 95 Audi. Nikola Busov, the man from Croatia. Got Smallhand just going into the pits as well. Bizzle is 9th. Got the 911 coming through. Now that is Rui, who's only 17th at the moment. He's aiming for an improvement. And he does not improve on this occasion, unfortunately, so he stays in P17. Who's that coming through? Is that Ray Thomas coming through now in the number 58 BMW? 15th he goes. So just two drivers who have yet to get a time on the board. Could be one in the moment because Bruno has gone 20th. Nearly 3 seconds off the pace, so it's only a 1:49.6. Got Demian van der Waal, the last driver yet to post a time. Hopefully that will change. He goes up to P7. That's a nice lap. Moving in front of Smallhand. So Van der Waal onto the 4th row of the grid. Got Adam Anderson coming through. Murray's now. What can he do here? The number 888 Porsche is behind another Porsche driver. That is Lewis Robinson. And he doesn't improve on this occasion. Busov crosses over the line now, though, I think. He doesn't improve. Ben Milden is on a lap. Aldori's coming around to complete his latest lap. What is this going to be for him? Second fastest he goes. Just 0.003 of a second short of the provisional pole time. That's how close it is. Close, but not close enough. MGK goes 5th. Pavizel behind, who's currently P11. Doesn't improve. Got the triple, I think we've got the 161 of Ice Dude coming through. No improvement from him. Fireblade is only 20th at the moment in the number 57 McLaren. Got the 911 of Rui. Heading over the line, he's half a second behind Paul Trotman, but he's gone up to 16th place. So from 19th to 16th for Rue, that's a really good lap time. Stuart Hudson only 17th at the moment. He's dropped down another place because someone has improved. Couldn't quite tell who that was. Might have been Ray Thomas actually, who's just gone up there in 12th position. So Josh Clayton down to 13th place now. Robinson and Hudson have been displaced. Robinson only 15th at the moment. Hudson is on another lap now. Track is very much picking up. Fighter only 6th. Smallhand further behind. No improvement from him. 888 is next behind. That's Adam Anderson, who's looking to improve his lap time. 1.5 seconds off the pace. Can he do enough maybe to get into the top 10 here? Now Anderson, who's already got a podium finish to his name this campaign, has gone up to 11th position. Now Anderson, who did check in but didn't actually start the race in Hungary, hence why he got a 5-point penalty for his troubles. So points penalty has dropped him down a couple of positions in the championship as a result, which is not very ideal. But 161 of Ice Dude coming through. And what is this time going to be for him? It's not an improvement. Drury running wide on the curbs. And he's heading over the line now. Is this going to be an improvement from before? It's not, unfortunately. Just looking to see whether we are seeing any drivers moving up the order. I think Robinson's moved up the order to 14th place. Harry's Hutchinson getting on in the number 22 BMW. He stays 18th, unfortunately, so not a good lap. Paul Trotman in the number 246 Lexus goes up to 16th. He's able to find some time. Moritz has gone to provisional pole with a 146.6. So Busov down to second place now. The gap over 700ths of a second. Less than a tenth separating the top 3 at the moment, but that could still change. 2 minutes remaining. There's still time for one more flying lap for these drivers. Not if Nikola Busov continues spinning around like he's doing. And that's not going to help him because he's just spun on the exit of the last turn. Got the 420 of Smallhand coming through. And he was not able to improve that time, so he stays in 9th place. Sean Cole goes up to 5th though. That's an improvement. Number 34 heading over the line now. That is Farklov Papizel, who stays in P12. 161 of Ice Dude coming through now as well. He's in 15th place. We've got the 433 of Demian van der Waal, who stays in P8. Now, how is Anderson getting on? Get one more go of it. I don't think he improved that time. Someone did move up the order though, further behind. I think that might have been Rui up to 14th. He's had a good session so far. Makovsky only in P11 because Robinson has just gone up into 10th position now. So he's managed to crack the top 10 as the admin of this league. 46 just went over the line as well. Bruno's only 19th at the moment. Fireblade has got some work to do, but he's run out of time to go around again because we're into the last minute. 7:02 of showing he's got we've got a 7:02 showing on circuit, but I don't think that's showing on the leaderboard. I don't think to pick that up as the race goes on. I know what the actual number is because it's confusing sometimes with the map in comparison to the game itself. But there's Busov aiming for pole. He might get one more go at it if he crosses over the line in time. Nikola Busov goes to provisional pole by less than 200ths of a second, and he got over the line before the checkered flag, so he's got one more shot at it should he need it. Ben Milden's up to 3rd now in the Ferrari. It was some time ago since he did that lap, but he's got one more go at it. Morris is in the pit, so he's not going to be on pole. I want to say with Ben Milden because he's got a chance of going back to pole should he nail this last corner right. Aldori's directly behind him, but he's gone off track, so that's Aldori's session done. Can Ben Milden take pole at his home race in Snetterton? No, he can't. What about the race winner of last week, MGK? There's only him and Nikola Busov. Although Busov's just stopped out on circuit. I think it's Fighter who's behind in the 702. So we've got the two Ferraris coming through now to do their last times. MGK, where is this going to put him? Up to 6th. And I don't think Fighter improved either. So at the end of that session, it is Nikola Busov who's on pole position here at Snetterton by 17 thousandths of a second. Ben Milden third, 27 thousandths off the pace. Incredible. Less than a tenth separating the top 4. Busov on pole ahead of Morex, with Milden and Aldori next behind on row 2. Then we've got Demian van der Waal, who improved right at the end in 5th place. MGK 6th, with Sean Cole, the championship leader, in 7th ahead of Fighter in 8th. Smallhand and Lewis Robinson rounding out the top 10. Ice Dude and Cameron Mikowski are next behind in 11th and 12th. And Adam Anderson and Volker Papisel in 13th and 14th. We've got Ray Thomas and Josh Clayton in 15th and 16th. Rui and Stuart Hutchison in 17th and 18th on the 9th row of the grid. We've got Bruno Canavera and Paul Chopman in 19th and 20th. Fireblade in last place on the grid. 21 runners registered for tonight for the start. I'm hoping it'll be a belter of an event here at Snetterton. Won't be too long before the race begins. No points, remember, for pole position, but Busov won't care. He'll just want to get a good start and pull away, build a cushion over the others before they all start pitting. There's all the other championships as well that the FRL do. You can look at the YouTube description. And from what I've been told, quali was 8 PM in the game, and for the race itself it would be 9 PM. So the race will be darker, and the time elapsed will be multiplied by 2. So by the time the checker flag will be out, it'll be past 11 PM. So it'll be at darkness when the checker flag comes out, I'd have thought. We've got the cars on the grid with around 3 minutes to go before the formation that begins. I would say in around about 5 minutes time from when they are leaving the grid, we should be going to green flag racing. Hello to you as well, Ben, for in the live chat. to know how your weekends have been. Of course, we've had quite a high number of track action, or high amount of track action, I should say, over the weekend. We've obviously had the Miami Grand Prix. We had British touring cars at Brands Hatch, along with other championships that race there supporting it. Of course, this weekend, there's not quite Formula 1 on. Still some motor racing events you can go and enjoy, including the MotoGP rounds at the Bugatti circuit in France. That's taking place. See whether IndyCar are racing this weekend as well. It'd be great if it is, so that it helps keep the motorsport taste in there for this weekend. There is one. It's the GMR Grand Prix at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So IndyCar will be racing there this weekend too. In case you're wondering when the next time British touring cars will be racing at, I know they've just done 2 rounds so far this season, or yeah, they've done 2 rounds so far, or 6 races in total. The next time we'll be racing will of course be at Snetterton, of all places, but that's the weekend after this one. If we watch the cars move off the grid, Nikola Busov leading the way ahead of Morex. You can see the drivers have got their headlights on already. They know that light will fade as time flies. There will be darkness by the time this race is over. 21 cars in the field. It was 22 last week. Suzuka, we had 24. An opening round at Laguna Seca. Just trying to recall how many drivers actually competed at Laguna Seca. We had 25 in total, apparently. Just trying to double check. Yeah, we had 26 in fact for the opening round. So that's the highest number of drivers we've had in a race so far in the top tier of Taco Tuesday. So Nikola Busov is on pole with Moritz alongside the 2 Audis. Busov needing a win to get his championship back on track. He is 34 points behind the leader Sean Cull with 7 races to go, including this one. Ben Milden third on the grid ahead of Ahmed Al-Dori. It's Demian van der Waal and Melvin Kroes on row 3. Sean Cull and Fighter, who's in the number 702, otherwise known as Kobe Alerts. And it's the American in the number 420 Porsche Smallhand, otherwise known as Blakely Townsend, with Lewis Robinson running out the top 10 in the number 336 Porsche. Then it's Ice Dude in the number 161 Audi. That is Nico van Uvel from Belgium, with Kamil Makovsky in P12. We just see Moritz go off the track there whilst he was trying to brake behind Busov. Kamil Makovsky's 12th. It's Adam Anderson and Falco Papizel in 13th and 14th places. Then we've got Ray Thomas in the number 58 BMW alongside the number 500 Mercedes AMG of Josh Clayton. Rui in the number 911 McLaren. Now Rui, in case you're wondering who he is, that is, I think he may be a reserve tonight actually, is Rui. I'm just double checking. No, that is Fernando Ferreira in the number 911 McLaren. He's a full-time driver. Stuart Hodgson in P18 in the number 22 BMW. Then we've got Bruno Canavera in the number 46 Audi in 19th position, alongside the number 246 Lexus of Paul Trotman. At the back is the number 20, is the number 57 McLaren. That is Fireblade, who I think he's reserving tonight. No, that's Bagnall, who is a full-time driver this season. Well, the drivers are in their rows of 2, which means we are ready to go for the start of round 4 of the 9th season of Taco Tuesday in the Formula Racing League Assetto Corsa Competizione, and we are off and ready to go. Busov cuts the line, and there's massive mayhem at the back. Goodness gracious me, I cannot believe what I have just seen. Cars all over the place. There was 2 separate collisions. Smallhand has been in the wars, and there was a further collision ahead and behind, in fact. Just trying to see who got caught up in that. It seems though those at the back have got through fine. The 420 has had a spin, that'll be Smallhand, and there was 2 other cars off the track in the barriers as well and have managed to continue. That is Ice Dude. I think Kamil Makowski might have got himself in there. No, that's not him. That is Ice Dude's just had another spin on the exit of Montreal. But Ahmed Aldori, oh no, it's not Aldori's in the lead. Aldori, I think, has dropped back from it all. He was right at the front, but he's dropped back a few positions. Busov takes the lead ahead of Ben Milden in 2nd position. Then we've got Marek 3rd, MGK ahead of Fight, and it's Sean Cole who is 6th. We're just waiting for the first sector to be updated. We've not had Smallhand go through the first sector yet. So there's your order right now. Busov, Milden, Morex, MGK, Fighter, your top 5 so far. Lewis Robinson making up ground, up 3 places from his position, and Anson up a few positions as well. Kamil Makowski up 3 positions in the number 174 Aston Martin. Long way to go yet. Now those who have just been in the wars, they can take their mandatory pit stops now if they want to. But they're going to be losing a lot of ground, and they don't want to try and get too far behind, otherwise they'll need to move out of the way the leaders for blue flags. That one is done then. Morex in the pits already. He wants to get his pit stop done now. He is not messing around. I think he's got damage to his bonnet, actually, thinking of it. So that explains why he's pitting at the end of the first lap. We'll see a few others in, I think. Is that Ray Thomas who's just coming in also? It is. And I think Demian van der Waal is one of those that got caught up in the first lap. Carnage. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Ice Dude also in, and I imagine Smallhand will be in at the end of this lap as well. We've got a spin on the exit of turn 1. It's number 22 that's gone for a spin. That's Stuart Hutchinson, who's had a miserable night so far, and it hasn't got any better for him. I don't think he's had any damage. I think it was just a spin, so he's able to carry on his way. Busov leads, Milden 2nd, as we watch a few drivers running wide. Oh, and that's a spin. Who's that spun? It's Bruno Canavera. It's Bruno Canavera, sorry, who's just had a spin on the exit of the right-hander, leading onto the Bentley straight. He's dropped down. What looks like 15th position now, behind Fireblade. So Busov leading, Milden ahead of MGK. Aldori's had a really dreadful start to this one. He was 3rd on the grid, I think, or 4th. He was definitely in the top 4. And he's dropped well down the field to 13th. Smallhand is still in the pits at the moment. I don't know if he actually is going to return to the circuit. And when you're having repairs, you do spend more time in the pit lane getting that sorted out. So there's the field, filtering through, and Hutchinson is coming to the pits to get his mandatory stop done now, so he doesn't have to do it later. see further behind whether there is any battles going on. There's Rui holding up Bavizzel in the fight for 9th place. Aldori's moved in front of Trotman into P12 now. He's on the tail of Josh Clayton's Mercedes AMG. Looking to get past the Mercedes, I think, as the pair go side by side, and that should be another position gain for Aldori, and goes up to 11th position. So he's making up for lost time. They go for a 3rd podium in a row. It's going to be quite a tall order from here on in. Keeps this pace up, who knows? Just seen Hutchinson leave the pits now. I think he's going to go down a lap on the leaders, which is very unfortunate for him. And Smallhan has actually rejoined the race as well, so he keeps going, may as well. Busov continuing out and up in front. 1.6 seconds is the gap at the end of the previous lap, but it looks more than that now. MGK up in there in 3rd place, going very well. Needs to keep up the form from what he had done in Hungary last week. And there's a mistake there, is that? I think that's Hutchinson actually just staying out of the way, so he's not getting involved in any of the leaders. We've just seen a battle going on further behind. I think is that Sean Cole is trying to get through? Or was that Robinson? No, it's Robinson getting past Fighter. So Robinson having a cracking race so far. Up into 5th place. Ahead of Fighter. The Belgian trying to have a look. That's Kobe Alerts who's in that Ferrari. Just trying to all of his momentum there. And Robinson will need to get through Hutchinson here, who's a lap behind and just about stays out of the way. He should do the same for Fighter as they go through Murray's. So we are a total of 4 laps into this race now. About 7.5 minutes in. You can see the light is quickly falling. Put the drivers off too much. Gap 2.6 seconds at the end of the previous lap. The gap is now 3.1. Busov absolutely flying, and Bill Millen is really losing ground at the moment. And it looks like Ray Thomas is back in the pits. I wonder if he's had damage to the number 58 of his. Oh, he's got a huge amount of damage, and he's even struggling to get into the garage. Could this be race over for him? Yeah, he's got a lot of damage on that machine. He's had a massive shunt somewhere. So Sean Cole in 4th place, Lawrence Robinson in 5th, closing in on the championship leader, who thinking more about the championship at this point now, I would have thought, because he went into this one with an 8-point lead over his nearest rival, which is Ahmed Aldori, who has had a shocker of a race at the beginning, but he's making up for lost time. So as it stands, with Mario Arsenio I should say, down the order in 16th place, Melvin Krause, who's on course to finish 3rd, should he take 3rd place, he would move in front of Arsenio and Aldori. So he would close the gap between him and Kull by a couple of points. 18 points behind Kull going into this one, so it'll be 16. So in actual fact, Kull will be extending his lead in the championship from 8 to 16. It'd be a different driver in second place to the one before this race had started. In second, then we've got MGK. Cool is right behind, 1 second back. Looks like Aldori's closing in a little bit on Bissell in the fight for 10th. Stuck behind him for a little bit now, so he needs to get a move on here. Make up for lost time. We are 10 minutes into this race. It's gone quite quickly, actually, thinking of it. As Bissell runs wide at Hamilton. Aldori looks for a move round the outside. Is he able to pull it off as Bissell loses momentum on the curves, and this should be an overtake for Aldori through the right-hander of Williams onto the Bentley straight, and Aldori goes up into 10th place. That was a great move. Next man ahead of him is the number 911 McLaren of Rui. What else is going on at the moment? Well, Paul Trotman's right behind Fireblade as we speak. Bruno's is just behind him as well. You have to say the top 15 are very much in touch with each other. It's those further back who've had to come in for repairs or deciding to get their mandatory pit stop now already. The leaders can decide to pit in as soon as they want. Busov is coming up to lap the number 433 Audi of Demian van der Walt, who's already done his mandatory stop. He will not want to be moving out of the way for blue flags, but I think he's going to have to very shortly, unless he can pick up the pace. It looks like, has there been a change of position? I think Robinson's dropped down a few positions. He has. He was running in 5th place ahead of Fighter. He's back down to 8th. So he's had an awful first sector. He must have had a moment on the grass. He's lost crucial ground. Fighter up to 5th place. Anderson 6th. Makowski in P7. Busov is 4 seconds clear of Milden in 2nd position. Seen someone head for the pits. Is that Stuart Hutchinson heading back to the pits with a problem? It looks like it is. Or is that Ray Thomas still in there? I think it's just Ray Thomas who has retired from the race now. As Van der Waal gets out of the way of the leader. No, not too much harm. But if he can just keep up with him and not fall back into the clutches of Milden, he might be okay. Aldori's right behind Rui now in the battle for 9th. So it's going to be a change of position. He has a look. Rui goes defensive as they come into the hairpin of Montreal. They exit and they're coming towards the left-hander of Palmer. Rui runs wide, and that should give the invitation for Aldori to pull alongside, and that is a change for position. Aldori goes up to P9. Next driver is Lewis Robinson in 8th. Sean Cole right behind MGK in the battle for 3rd place. Won't want to try anything daft at this point. There's a long way to go. Milden was able to respond to Busov a little bit now. He's got the gap back down to 3.8 seconds in Sector 2. Just so you can see what the gap is over the line. gap is 3.9, so Busol was able to respond to that a little bit. Kowski behind Anderson in the battle for P6. Aldori's 2.3 seconds behind Lewis Robinson. Made that 2 seconds now. In terms of the number of laps we're going to have for this race, considering we're a quarter of the way through now, we should be expecting something like 32 laps. It'll definitely be over 30. I think Ray Thomas has gone back into the race now, albeit he's a few laps behind, so that's effectively his race finished, so he's just using this race as like a test session, if you like. Got a car in the pits, that's Josh Clayton, who's coming in for his mandatory stop. 15 minutes of the race completed. Want to try and get out in some clean air if you can. Go down a lap on the leader is Clayton, so get his skates on, unless he's been in the wars somewhere. Don't know if that's likely, but he's been in the pits for a long time. Van der Waal is back in the pits. Has he been in the wars as well? Looks like he has, otherwise he wouldn't be pitting again. Clayton's been in there for some time, but he's got going. Five seconds the gap between Busov and Milden. GK under threat from Cole now. Aldori is moving in front of Makovsky because Makovsky's had an error somewhere. Robinson's got through, as is Aldori. So Aldori up to 8th place. Robinson's just ahead. Now, can he get a good exit coming out of Williams? So they ride the curbs on the exit onto the Bentley straight. Now Aldori will go for an onboard with him as he's looking for a move on the Porsche 336 up the inside as they come towards Brundle, and that is going to be an overtake, I think, up to P7. That's a great overtake from Ahmed Aldori. Robinson had no response to it, he had no answer to it. That was an excellent overtake. Aldori wasting no time. The next man ahead of him is Adam Anderson in P6. Farkloff Pizzle is in a fight also with Rui for 10th position as we go on board with the Audi driver. Into turn 1. Rui runs in a little bit too deep it seems, so Farkloff Pizzle may gain a little bit of ground on the exit. Going into Montreal. Half a second is the gap between MGK and Cole still. Go to Robinson in P8. He runs wide again, and that's going to leave Makovsky chance to maybe get back through again, but Robinson keeps his nose ahead for now. Sparks flying from MGK's car. Now, can Cole pull off an overtake that Aldori did on the previous lap? I think he's going to. He's up the inside. And is that a change for position? They're still together. MGK has to go defensive. There was contact. But that's fair racing, I think. MGK had the right to defend the line he was going to do. He was always going to do that. Hull just has to accept that. Bide his time and go again. Just looking at the pit straight in terms of how close it's getting. Once you really get into that slipstream, you can actually gain some ground on the car in front and actually pull alongside. The slipstream does really help here at Snetterton. As they come through Montreal. Now through the left-hander to small back straight that leads to the left-hander of Agostini. As Paul Trotman comes into the pits, he's the 8th driver to come in and make his mandatory stop. Behind all of those that haven't stopped yet, have been in touch with each other, so hopefully it shouldn't be too long of a pit stop for him. It's kind of getting to the point now for the leaders where they need to decide when they're going to be pitting in. Well, Busov's got a 6-second lead and has got the fastest lap of the race so far. Once he gets held up in traffic, that's when he may decide to pit in. Come around the last turn. Farfop Vissel is in front of Rui now for P10. Seven seconds is the margin between Busov and Milden. GK third, and it's Kull, Fighter, Anderson, Aldori. Aldori continuing to close down the gap. 1.8 seconds it is. Rui comes into the pits. Aldori runs wide a little bit on the exit of Agostini to get his skates on. 6th may well be the maximum he achieves, but it depends on how he goes about his strategy as well. He may decide to stay out on the tyres that he's on and come in for his pit stop. That will be essentially shorter than what it would be if he had pitted earlier on in the race, which could play into his hands. Oh, and that's Anderson running wide, and Aldori's through. So a mistake from Aldori, as Babissel I think has run wide also. No, it's not. I think that's someone else at the back. I think it's Mikoski who's just lost the position, or maybe has lost further ground to a back marker that's just got back ahead of him. MGK still in front of Kull in the battle for 3rd place. But Aldori's up to 6th place crucially now. Over 8 seconds behind Fighter. That's a long gap to make up. Take him, I would say, at least 10 laps to do that, unless the pit stops intervene. It's likely to intervene, but he's needing to go defensive because Anderson's all over the back of him. So Aldori's next focus is just to pull away from the Porsche. Otherwise that's going to interrupt his recovery drive. To Agostini. You can see the gap is getting bigger between Aldori in 6th and Fighter in 5th. We are pretty much in darkness. Track temperature 12 degrees. Same for the air temperature. I think Aldari is very much clear of Anderson now, so he should focus more on going after Fighter. As we watch a car go off track, can't tell who that was because of the darkness. It's the 433 of Van der Waal, who has gone back into the pits and is out of the race via the pause menu. So he is the second. Well, I say it's the second driver. I don't think he's going to come back on track now. Ray Thomas will be overtaking him in a moment. Busov continues to lead. The gap is 9 seconds, over 9 seconds in front now between him and Ben Milden in P2. And Aldari's got the gap down between him and Fighter to 7.1 seconds. I think Fighter must have made a mistake in the previous sector or something. Not going as quick as he has been in the previous few laps, I don't think. We're almost coming up to the halfway point in this race now. Now Moritz, who was one of those that came in at the end of the opening lap, he's just got part of a circuit to himself really, making the most of the track position. So this could play into his hands later on, but he's going to be on older tyres in comparison to the leaders. He's pushing as hard as he can to make up for lost ground. Sean Cole has come into the pits from 4th place. First of the leaders to pit in. Probably come out behind Papizel, but want to get out in front of Morex. Dory's gap to Fighter 6.9 seconds. I think Sean Cole should be okay from Morex, if I'm honest. Be wrong though. I think by the time... Oh, in fact, Sean Cole's done his stop now, so he should be leaving his box, which he's done so. And he'll be out well ahead of Morex. And he's got some clear track ahead of him. Morex rejoins in... So Cole has rejoined in 12th. Behind everyone that's yet to stop. Ahmed Aldari, who's 7 seconds behind Fighter, in the battle for 4th position now on track. How long will it be before they pit him? Busov's deciding to stay out. Not sure what Milden's doing yet. I think a driver's just come into the pits, and that's MGK from 3rd place, so he's responding to Sean Cole. He's in. Is Sean Cole doing a decent enough outlap? Lewis Robinson's also in. I think by the time, as Bruno comes in also, I think by the time Sean Cole is around Coram, well, by the time he gets to Coram, he should be moving in front of MGK. If he does so, he'll have completed an undercut. Well, MGK's left his box now, or leaving his box, and Cole is coming round Murray's, so he's past Murray's. This is going to be very close, this. MGK leaves the pits. Sean Cole blasting his way down the pit straight, but I think MGK is going to stay in front of him. Into turn 1, they're almost going side by side, but MGK is in front. For now at least, but Sean Cole will be on warmer tyres. Down the inside goes Sean Cole on the Ferrari. They're wheel to wheel once more. Want to go on board as they are coming through Palmer now. MGK breaks that a little bit late to remain in front as Cole has hit the bollard as they come out of Palmer. MGK stays in front for now as he looks to warm up his new set of tyres. Sean Cole wasn't able to do it on this occasion, so it was a good job that MGK came in at the time of which he did. Otherwise, Sean would have been able to complete an undercut on him. But Milden's in from second place. So I think Milden knows that the race win is very much out of the equation, but second place is still very much possible. Aldori and Anderson are also in. What about Makovsky? What is he looking to do? Is he pitting in as well, or is he staying out? No, he's also in. So Fireblade, what is he deciding to do? Is he coming in also? He is. Provisional has stayed out for another lap. I don't think MGK will get in front of Milden. Or they may do, actually. Sean Cole's with him also. Milden hasn't... He's just left his box now, but I think it's too late because MGK and Cole are down the pit straight. And they're going to get in front of Milden. So Milden's lost 2 positions in the pit stops. That is bad news for the Brit in the Ferrari. He's not lost second, but he's lost third as well, effectively. Not good news. The pit stop took too long, and he's cost himself dear in all of that. Aldori has rejoined. Is he in front of Robinson on track? He is. Anderson's rejoined as well. Moritz has just got in front of him. So Moritz is in front of Bruno. And he's in front of Makovsky also. So he's up to 10th place now on track as Busov, the race leader, comes in. At the end of lap 18. Got a huge cushion out anyway over MGK, so this should be no problem. Fighter will take over the lead for now. What is Provisional deciding to do? Is he going to do his pit stop now, or is he going to stay out for another lap? Good news for Fighter is that he's got clear track ahead of him, so he'll want to use that to his advantage. Speed 3 kilometers an hour. It's a headwind going into turn 1 on the pit straight. Busov is just leaving the pits now, and he's well ahead of second place Sean Cole, who's got in front of MGK, or at least he was. MGK has stayed in front of him. They must have been going side by side into Brundle and Nelson. MGK able to stay in front. So MGK up to second place effectively. Cole not giving up by any stretch of the imagination. If they continue battling, Milden will be getting in on the act. Now, Fighter was running in 5th place before the pit stops had begun. He'll be hoping to keep his place in the top 5. If he does a quick enough pit stop, might actually get himself into the frame of finishing second, given that Milden lost a lot of time. He's in now though, his Fighter. Coming in for his only stop. So for Bizzle, I think, unless he comes in at the end of the start, we'll have a small stint at the front. Fizzle decides to remain out there for now. He's not coming to the pits. Busov is coming down the pit straight now. He'll go back ahead of Fighter, no problem. MGK's just exited Murray's. Fighter has not exited his box yet. He has done now though. So he's out on his way and he'll be behind Milden, effectively in 5th. And Aldori's too far back, I think, to think about getting ahead of the Ferrari as well. So Fighter will stay in front of him. Busov over 8 seconds in front of MGK. Sean Cull not far behind, neither is Milden. So Pavizel is the only driver yet to stop in this race now, with 24 minutes remaining. It's coming onto the Bentley straight. Fizzle, 34 Audi, continuing on in the lead temporarily. Very much on going into the top 10. It'll be interesting to know how quickly his tyres will be going. He's got the track position on circuit, which will help him. Lap 21. Gap is 7.3 seconds between Pavizel and Busov, but that's not a genuine battle that we need to be looking at. Fighter is now... Is he ahead of... No, he's not ahead of Milden. Oh, he is ahead of Milden. Milden's made a mistake somewhere, and Fighter and Aldori have got through into 5th and 6th. Milden's race has gone from bad to worse. 2nd before the pit stops, and he's down to 7th place, which will effectively become 6th, actually, once Pavizel does come in. But that's not going to do Milden's confidence any good whatsoever. He's probably done it, as Cull has got past MGK also. Not sure what's happened. MGK has made a mistake on track, and that's allowed the championship leader through. And now he's got Fighter behind him. And Aldori will be wanting to get involved in this. There's plenty of time for him to make a move as we watch Fighter go for a move on the number 23 of MGK. And there's no change between those two just yet. We'll go on board with Fighter as they go onto the Bentley straight now. Gets himself into the slipstream, but he's not quite close enough to have a go at this moment in time. Oh, he's gone in too deep there as Fighter. That will compromise his line into Nelson. Gives MGK a little bit of a fright, but nothing more than that. It's Busov in on, not worrying about anything what's going on. Sean Cull's 12 seconds behind him now, as there's a... Is that Thunderwall coming out of the pits? It is, and he's a long way back, so I'm not sure he'll get the points for finishing. He ends up in 21st. How's the battle between MGK, Fighter and Aldori? Well, I will tell you now, it's even closer. Robinson closing in on Milden also in the battle for P7 on track, which will effectively be P6 once Pavizel comes in for his only stop. Bizzle. Want to go on board with him. As MGK, how does MGK tackle Williams absolutely perfectly? No chance of Fighter getting through on this occasion. See. Fighter in 5th place. Aldori in 6th on track as Bavizzle is in the pits now. So that will elevate Sean Cole, MGK, Fighter, Aldori, Robinson, Bruno, Milden and Morix up the order. It should do at least anyway. But I'd expect Bavizzle's pit stop to be somewhat shorter than most of the field. So that might give him a chance to be in the top 10. But I don't think he's going to be in the top 10. As Adam Anderson's coming around Murray's now. Bissell's done his stop. And Makovsky is ahead of him. So Bissell rejoins in 12th place now. Ahead of Rui. Now Dory's closing on these two now in the fight for the final podium position. So very much hotting up. I think Milden's dropped back another few positions. Down to 9th place is Milden. Absolutely having a torrid time of it. Bruno's had a good race in the Audi. He was right at the back earlier, but he's come through nicely in P7. And Bruno Canavera, who I think finished on the podium earlier this season. Just have a look on the previous at the championship standings at the moment. That's the number 46 Audi. Bruno Canavera from Portugal. He finished on the podium at Suzuka this season. To go back to the battle for 3rd place because Fighter is all over the back. Looking for a move. He's got to think carefully because he's also got Aldori looming in behind as the 3rd, 4th and 5th place drivers go through the 2nd corner of the lap, which is Montreal. As Fighter thinks about it. He's got Aldori looming in behind. Takes too much curb, I think, on the exit. Drops back a little bit from MGK. So he needs to do what he can and close back in a little bit more. Aldori won't want to be waiting around. We'll ride on board with him. This is a potential overtake coming up, I think. So as they go round Oggies and to the right-hander of Williams. And this is the Bentley straight that they're coming through now. As we watch one of the back markers getting out of the way. That's the 161 of Ice Dude. Smallhand is back in the pits. Hopefully for a short period of time. There's no change in the fight for 3rd place still. This fight is getting rather more tasty now. It's the closest battle we've got out on circuit. As they exit Murray's and carry onto the pit straight, we'll have a look on the helicam, which you haven't used too much tonight. It's the field. Underwall's back in the pits, and I think this could well be the end of it for him this evening. It hasn't been a quality night as Fighter goes in a little bit too deep, but he'll gain the exit speed that he needs to just pull away a little bit more on Aldori, so no chance of Aldori getting through that time. It's 15 minutes to go in this race now. The gap between Busov in the lead And Sean Cull in second place is 14 seconds. But using the curb on the exit, he's not close enough to put himself within slipstream of MGK to have a chance of pulling alongside. He's going to want a mistake from the number 23 Ferrari. Complete the move. MGK will be moving up to second place in the championship as it stands. So Aldori is running in 5th position. I think Aldori will keep hold of second place, but MGK will move up to 3rd because Moritz is down in 8th place in this one unless he moves up the order. So we watch Aldori thinking about it, coming into Corim. He's in the curb on the exit. That was a little bit too deep that for fights, and I think that's going to give Aldori an opportunity as we go on board with Ahmed Aldori as he thinks about it, pulls out of the slipstream again to give Fighter more of a worry. Fighter makes a mistake though, and that could give Aldori an opportunity to pull alongside and get through. On the grass goes Fighter. Through goes Aldori into 4th position. The fight's not over yet as Fighter looks to pounce round the outside into Palmer, but to no avail. So Aldori, who was towards the back of the field at the beginning of the race, has got himself back up to P4, and he's not finished from there. 13 minutes to go. Probably around 7 laps to go, I would say, in this race. Can he get a podium? Van der Waals back on circuit now. Smallhand's still in the pits at the moment. Don't know if he will actually return to the track. Not too long to go now in this race. Aldori determined to get a podium out of this. It will be a massive relief to him to minimise the damage, and I think we've lost a driver via connection. Who is that that's out of the race just now? Having a look on the stream, I believe, is it Stuart? It's not Stuart Hutchinson, is it? It's Kamil Makowski who's just disconnected. He was running in 11th position before that happened. So unfortunately that could well be his race over for tonight, which is a huge shame. It's back in the lobby now. He may have to wait a little bit before he can rejoin the circuit. I think he'll rejoin ahead of Ray, Smallhand and Van der Waal, so at least that's a little consolation for him. He's got Clayton is running in 17th, a long way back behind him as we speak, although he's just going over the line, or he will be shortly. So this is the battle we want to be looking at. MGK and Aldori for P3. Over 10 minutes to go. For him. Go for it into Murray's, probably not. We'll go on board with him again as MGK runs a little bit wide. That's going to give Aldori momentum to try and pull alongside. MGK, which way is he going to defend? He's going to go to the right. Aldori will go to the outside as they go down the centre straight to the outside. Does Aldori. Goes Aldori, I should say. MGK holds him off once more. Aldori behind. He's not going to have time, I don't think, to catch Sean Cole in second place, which is what he wants to be doing for the sake of the championship. He needs to focus more on finishing in third. And I think Makovsky's lost connection completely again. I think he's back in actually, is Makovsky. Oh no, he's still in. It's Smallhand who's left the lobby, or the server I should say. Hopefully we'll see Makovsky return to the circuit now, which he has done. He's down in 18th position. Dory right behind MGK. Come up towards Coram. Go on board it again. It's more tidy this time from MGK. Into turn one. Oh, MGK has gone a little bit too deep. Aldori will get into the slipstream again. Will he go for the inside? MGK blocks him, and Fighters off the track is in the wall. But we want to stay focused on the battle for third place. MGK is still there. Aldori looking for a more of an overtake, but Fighter dropped it on the exit of the first turn, and he's damaged his car. I'm sure of it. As you can see, Fighter is now 5 seconds behind these two. Robinson will be encouraged by that, although he's just been overtaken by Bruno now. So Robinson's down to 7th place, behind the man from Portugal. Sorry. The back straight, the Bentley straight, not able to go for it just yet. Right up behind, pressurising MGK into a mistake. So we go on board. Dory looking to make a move. To turn one. See how close MGK is getting. Aldori's getting. Looking for a pass. Won't do it to Montreal. MGK may have run a little bit too deep, but his exit speed is greater. His nose in front, and Fighter is definitely dropping back from these two. I'm sure of it. Six minutes to go. Busov is on his 30th lap, and Van der Waal is back in the pits, by the way, and his race is over. It's the second driver to retire. 19 still going. Very close this battle. I'll tell you that Bruno's 3 seconds behind Fighter now. Kobe in the Ferrari is very much struggling. The gap down to 2.3. I think Fighter's going to end up losing at least 2 more positions before this race is over. So Aldori is looming in behind the Ferrari. Still not able to get a move done. We'll go on board again to see how they fare through turn 1. You can see how late Aldori was late on the brakes. And he can't find a way past again. Still no change. Bruno is now 1.2 behind Fighter. Also, I think we're going to see an inevitable overtake between those two. The battle for third rages on again. MGK third, Ahmed Aldori fourth. It's Netherlands versus Belgium. So they come through. I think Bruno, has he got past Fighter yet? He hasn't. But should he get a tidy exit coming out of here, I think he'll get the move done. Aldori, can he get a move done on MGK this time? He's probably only got a couple of laps to go at the end of this one. So Aldori not quite going for it there. We'll want to go back to the battle for 5th place because Fighter struggling with the handling of his machine over the last few laps. But somehow he stays in front of Bruno. Oh, he's run wide though, off the track almost, and that gives the place to the Audi driver. So Bruno up to 5th place, continuing his good form from last week, or from 2 weeks ago I should say. And Lewis Robinson will want to try and get past Fighter as soon as he can. He's only got a couple of laps to do it though. And Aldori thinking about it again on MGK. They're still going for it. This is going to go right to the end of the race, I'm sure of it. "14 seconds is the gap between Busov in the lead and Sean Cole in second. Busov, who's just going through the Bentley straight, will have 1 more lap to go once he completes this lap. And Morris has dropped back down the order as well. He's in 10th position now behind Adam Anderson, by the looks of it. No, he's just back ahead of him again. They were very close going through the first sector. But Morris has not had a good race tonight, it has to be said. See, the race leader's on his last lap now. But this is the battle we want to be looking at. Got a back marker ahead of him, that is Stuart Hutchinson, who will be needed to move out of the way of these two, which he does so. And there's a drive-through penalty for Ray Thomas for track limits, but it's the last lap anyway. Don't think he needs to be. He's over on his last lap. I think he's on his penultimate lap actually. But watch it, Aldori looking to the outside of MGK. MGK goes defensive. Aldori still cannot do it. We'll have 1 more go at it on the exit of Williams onto the Bentley straight. That will be his last chance, I think. Want to go to the leader very shortly. These two continuing on fighting. Making contact there. You can see how close Aldori's getting now. As Busov's just going through Brundle and Nelson now. as they come through on board with Aldori. How much will he go for it here? Here we go into the slipstream, up the inside goes Ahmed Aldori. Is this a chase for third position? Not quite there. MGK holds on for now. We'll go to the leader because Busov is round Morris for the last time. It's going to be a first win of the season for Nikola Busov from Croatia in the 95 Audi in Taco Tuesday in the Formula Racing League. Sean Cole will come home in second place. MGK is just going to hold off Ahmed Aldori. It's been a brilliant battle, but it's the Dutchman who'll go to the podium. The race winner of last week comes home third. Aldori will have to settle for fourth this time. Bruno in a well-deserved fifth. He had a cracker of a race tonight. Robinson will be fairly happy with sixth. Fighter will not be very happy with seventh place, I'd have thought. Bermilden, who was in the podium positions, was in second place before the pit stops had begun, but fallen down to eighth in the end. Not a good race really for him tonight. I don't think he'll be too happy with that. Moritz 9th, Adam Anderson 10th, then it's Fargler, Pavizzel, Rui and Fireblade, the last drivers on the lead lap. Then it's Paul Trotman, Stuart Hutchinson, Josh Clayton, Eistid, Mikoski, Ray and Damien van der Walt. But there is your race winner, Nikola Busov, in the 95 Audi, as the fireworks go off here at Snetterton. Still drivers completing their final lap, so just waiting for the classification to come up. Isto just holding off Mikosi at the end. So Busov wins ahead of Sean Cole in second place. It's MGK in third, Ahmed Aldori fourth, and it's Bruno, Lewis Robinson and Fighter in fifth, sixth and seventh. Then it's Ben Milden eighth, Moritz ninth and Adam Anderson running out the top 10. Then it's Farklov for Vizzle in P11. Then it's Rui Fireblade, who finished in a respectable 13th place for him. He's had a clean race tonight as Fireblade, so hats off to him for that. Paul Trotman 14th, and it's Stuart Hutchinson, Josh Clayton, Istood, Cameron McCoskey, who had his connection issues earlier, only 18th in the end. Ray Thomas will be classified in 19th place, with Smallhand and Demon van der Walt a long way back. I don't think they're going to get points for finishing that far back, to be honest with you. In regards to the championship, a brilliant second place for Sean Cole. Sees him extend his lead at the top over second place Ahmed Aldori. It was 8 points at the beginning tonight, but with Busov getting the fastest lap points as well. Oh no, Sean Cole didn't get the fastest lap points. Busov got the fastest lap points. Sean Cole collecting 38 points from this race. Ahmed Aldori getting 34. So the gap at the top is 12 points at the end of that round. Nikola Busov's win and the fastest lap points moves him on to 114 points. He's ahead of Ben Milden into 5th place. So he'll be looking to get... He may be up to 3rd actually, or 4th I should say, because of Morris's poor performance tonight. The championship standings will be updated on the SimGrid website for you to have a look at later on. I'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for joining us. Next round of the championship will be at Silverstone. Same format as tonight, 50 minutes of qualifying and a 60-minute race. So do make sure you tune in for them. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well, and feel free to check out the other championships that the Formula Racing League has to offer. I'm going to end it there then. Thank you for watching, and we'll do it again in 7 days' time. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.